The biggest poverty trap is not a lack of hard work, it's not bad luck, and it's not even a poor economy. The biggest poverty trap is surprisingly counterintuitive. It's the welfare system. Many countries around the world rely on welfare systems to provide a safety net for struggling families, but the way these programs are structured often creates a cycle that's incredibly hard to break. I know. Welfare programs in theory are created to help people escape poverty, helping with food, housing, healthcare, and more. But in reality, they've become one of the biggest poverty traps, keeping millions of families stuck instead of helping them move forward. And it doesn't just keep people stuck in poverty, it's encouraging them to stay there. Think about it. If getting a job means losing your welfare support, losing your rent assistance, food vouchers, or childcare help, but your paycheck isn't enough to make up for it, what's the point? Why would anyone want to take that risk? The system makes it feel smarter to stay on welfare than to step out and try to make it on your own. Let me explain. Imagine you're struggling to make ends meet, and welfare programs step in to help. They give you just enough to cover rent, groceries, and maybe some other essentials. It's not a lot, but it keeps your head above water. Then you pick up a job and you think, finally things are looking up. Boom. Because you're earning a little more, you lose the benefits you relied on. Housing assistance, gone. Food programs, gone. And now your paycheck isn't enough to make up for what you've lost. It feels like punishment for trying to improve your life. Instead of helping you climb out of poverty, the system pulls you back down. This is the welfare trap in action, and it's one of the most frustrating poverty traps out there. It's not just frustrating, it's a demoralizing cycle that doesn't just keep people in poverty, but it practically encourages it. It's a cycle that keeps people stuck, no matter how hard they work or how much they want to break free. Today, we're going to break it all down. How the welfare trap works, why it exists, and what can be done to fix it. Because if we don't talk about it, this system will just keep holding people back. Let's get into it. This is Flourish in Wealth, where financial freedom begins. Let me first explain how the welfare system encourages poverty. When the welfare system is designed to cut off support the moment you start earning, it creates a dangerous message. It's better not to work. And while that's not the system's intention, it's the reality for many people. Think about it. If getting a job means you lose your housing support, food assistance, and maybe even childcare, but your paycheck doesn't cover all those things, then why bother? Why struggle to work when the system makes it easier to stay dependent? This is where laziness comes into the picture, not as a natural trait, but as a byproduct of how the welfare system is set up. People aren't choosing laziness because they're inherently lazy. They're choosing it because the system makes it feel like the safer, smarter choice. It's survival logic. But the problem is that over time, this dependency becomes a way of life. And when that happens, it doesn't just affect individuals. It ripples out into families, communities, and even future generations. Take a look at families stuck in this cycle. Parents who feel trapped in the welfare system often pass that mindset onto their children. Not intentionally, but as a result of the environment they're in. Kids grow up in homes where work isn't a priority because the system makes it feel pointless. Education may not be valued because immediate survival overshadows long-term goals. These kids often grow up in struggling neighborhoods surrounded by substance abuse, neglect, or even criminal activity. And it's not just about poverty. It's about what poverty does to people over time. When adults are left without purpose, or the dignity that comes from earning a living, they can fall into destructive habits. Some turn to alcohol or drugs to cope with their situation. Others might turn to crime, not because they want to, but because they feel like it's their only option to survive or make ends meet. So now, instead of uplifting people, the welfare system unintentionally traps them. It discourages work, fosters dependency, and perpetuates poverty. And the worst part? It keeps creating the same problems for the next generation. Kids grow up in environments where ambition is replaced with survival, and breaking out of that cycle becomes nearly impossible. If we want to tackle this problem, we have to recognize that the system itself is flawed. It punishes progress instead of rewarding it. It incentivizes dependency instead of encouraging growth. And until that changes, the welfare trap will continue to hold people back, keeping them stuck in poverty and creating a ripple effect that impacts entire communities. Hey, I want to hear your thoughts. Drop the words "break the trap" in the comments if you believe we need to redesign these systems to give people a real shot at escaping poverty. And while you're at it, share your thoughts on which solution you think could make the biggest difference. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll be reading through the comments to see your ideas. And if you're finding value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, and it really supports the channel so I can keep bringing you more content like this. Let's get back to it. Let me put it this way. Imagine you're running a race, but every time you cross a checkpoint, someone adds more weight to your backpack. Sure, you're moving forward, but the extra weight makes it harder to keep going. Eventually, you might stop running altogether, not because you're not capable, but because the system keeps making it harder. That's what the welfare trap feels like. It's not that people don't want to work, they do. But when the system punishes them for trying, it becomes almost impossible to win. And the welfare trap is just one part of a bigger problem. It's what economists call a poverty trap. For some people, it's the lack of access to quality education or affordable healthcare. For others, it's living in an area with no job opportunities or being buried under crushing debt. These traps reinforce themselves, making it harder and harder for people to escape poverty. But what makes the welfare trap so cruel is that it's tied to the very programs that are supposed to help. It's like building a bridge to get people out of poverty, but halfway across, the bridge just disappears. And instead of empowering people, it leaves them stuck. Now let's talk about solutions, because the welfare trap and other poverty traps don't have to be permanent. There are ways to redesign the system to give people the support they need without discouraging them from moving forward. 1. Gradual phase out of benefits. One of the most practical solutions is to phase out benefits gradually as people earn more money, instead of cutting them off all at once. Picture this. Instead of hitting a hard income limit where all support vanishes overnight, benefits are reduced bit by bit as you start earning more. This creates a smoother transition and makes progress feel rewarding. For example, if you start earning $200 more a month, maybe your housing assistance is reduced by $50 instead of being cut entirely. That way, you're still better off working than staying in the system. This approach helps people build confidence in their ability to support themselves without feeling like they're stepping off a financial cliff. 2. Universal benefits. Another idea is to make certain benefits universal, things like healthcare, childcare, or education. Imagine a system where every person, no matter how much they earn, has access to affordable healthcare or free childcare. This levels the playing field and ensures that basic needs are met without penalizing people for working harder. Countries with universal healthcare, for example, show us that when you take away the fear of medical bills, people have more freedom to pursue better jobs, start businesses, or improve their lives without worrying about losing their safety net. Making essential benefits available to everyone removes the stigma of welfare and gives low-income families a fighting chance to get ahead. 3. Universal Basic Income, or UBI, the boldest idea of them all. UBI is simple. Every single person gets a set amount of money each month, no questions asked. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, employed or unemployed. The money is yours. The beauty of UBI is that it removes the welfare trap entirely. Why? Because your UBI doesn't go away when you earn more. Instead, any money you make from work is added to your UBI. So instead of being punished for progress, you're rewarded. Think about what this could mean for families struggling to make ends meet. UBI creates a financial floor, a safety net so secure that no one has to worry about falling through the cracks. It gives people the breathing room to take risks, whether that's going back to school, starting a small business, or simply taking a better job. And because it's universal, it eliminates the bureaucracy and stigma of traditional welfare systems. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to check out my other video here for more money tips and ways to take control of your finances. You won't want to miss it.